Welcome to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. Today we're going to be going over a few things. We've got first Kevin O'Leary rips Justin Trudeau on U.S. national TV, as well as Joe Rogan endorses Pierre Poilevre. And then I also have a clip from The Vault. It's from December 6th last year. A Liberal is caught lying right on camera. So anyways, first off, let's start with Kevin O'Leary here.
Canada has one of the best natural resource bases on Earth. It's one of the richest countries on Earth from a natural resource basis. It's managed by idiots. Trudeau is the worst prime minister ever put in power. Very successful politician, no executional skills. Hopefully, we will thank him for his service within the next 18 months. It's so important to Canada that he move on. And I mean no disrespect, but full disrespect. Very successful politician, sure. Incredibly weak manager.
So you argue he is.
I mean no disrespect, but full disrespect. Kevin O'Leary's such a savage. That's pretty funny.
Not taking advantage of those resources. That's what that comes down to, right?
Oh, it's much worse than that. Okay. I wouldn't let him manage a candy store.
All right, I'll put you down as a maybe on the Prime Minister for the time being. So
I wouldn't let him manage a candy store. It's true. I mean, the guy doesn't know how to manage anything. Why is he managing our country? I don't know. Okay, let's jump over to the next one. Joe Rogan here. This clip comes from Saturday on the UFC Strickland fight. This is kind of like a pre-game roundtable, and they're just kind of talking about everything, and Trudeau came up.
That's it. I do pay-per-views in the United States of America. It used to be North America. I used to do Mexico, and I used to do Canada.
Not anymore.
Then Mexico got a little sketch, and then Canada got communist. Trudeau.
I was at the UFC.
Yelling.
Love it.
Yeah.
That guy's
Canada,
a piece of shit.
Canada, get your shit together. Come back. Come back to what you used to be. That Pierre Poilevre guy, however you say his name, that guy makes sense.
He's also Fidel Castro's kid. We know. I'm not a big conspiracy guy. Come on, Eddie, back me up on this. Educate him.
It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy.
He looks
his
a
mom
lot like Castro.
Look at.
So he does look a lot like Castro. You'll see here. I do agree with what Joe says here.
His mom.
But here's the thing. Realistically, I've looked at this. He also looks like his dad. His dad looks like Castro. His dad's very similar in facial structure to Castro.
But explain the mom going to
hanging
Cuba.
out, and he's got
9 months before he's born.
Fidel's holding him.
That's why it's fun. That's why it's a fun theory.
And she's on the flight logs so many times.
This could all be solved with a very simple DNA test. If I would do, if someone was accusing my dad of being Castro, if someone said, "Hey, your grandfather was Mussolini," I'd be like, "No, what are you talking about?"
This is an interesting point. If Trudeau really wanted to just clear his name on that, he would just take a DNA test and just show it. Without further ado here, let's jump on to the last clip I have here. This is a clip back from December 6th, and this scumbag guy, George Chahal, who's he's represented from Calgary Skyview. I have the thing here. You can see here his salary. This man is being paid $101,000 by us, the taxpayers. Let's just take a look at what the news had to say about this guy.
Liberal MP George Chahal says he has paid a fine for removing election material of his Conservative opponent from a home during the last federal campaign.
In one last attempt to sway voters, George Chahal, then Liberal candidate for Calgary Skyview, was caught removing a flyer of his opponent, Conservative incumbent Jag Sahota, from the door of a constituent.
And I acknowledged it immediately.
An investigation done, and there was a fine that was put forward.
Chahal was thought to be a shoo-in for a cabinet position when he was elected until this controversy came to light. The Prime Minister's office refused to comment on the fine, referring CTV back to Chahal, who would not say whether or not he has spoken to Justin Trudeau.
Just have to throw in a greasy photo up there. So this guy is horribly corrupt. He goes around removing people's flyers, the opposition's flyers. Why is this guy still in government? Anyways, that's the least of our problems now. Look, check this out.
Now we're on a sub-amendment by Mr. Jennis, who has the floor. Mr. Jennis.
Thank you, Chair. I have been trying to speak on my sub-amendment for about half an hour, and I'm constantly getting interrupted by New Democrats who are committed to preventing me from speaking.
Mr. Jennis.
Because they don't want my constituents.
I'm going to ask you to pause, and we have a point of order.
This is disgusting, Chair. Bring these members to order and let me speak because I have the...
Mr. Blakey on the point of order.
I have to say, prior to coming here this evening, I thought I knew something about parliamentary procedure. And what I thought I knew was that the chair determined who it was that had the floor.
This guy always acts like a poopy pants loser in these. It's just embarrassing, man.
Someone else in order to make that procedural point.
Look at the snickering that's going on back here.
Mr. Janice, as he's provided remarks, you've asked me, Mr. Blakey, right now on how I determine on who has the floor and who has the right to speak. So Mr. Janice has the floor because he's moved a sub-amendment. Do not turn on your mics unless you are recognized. Mr. Perkins, but thank you for your...
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Janice, now you do have the floor, so I'm going to give the floor to you so you can continue.
Whoa. Sure, I think members see what's happening. The NDP are doing everything they can to deprive Conservatives of their right to freedom of speech.
I'm going to ask
we were supposed to have
pause.
2 hours for discussion of this. We're supposed to have
Mr.
2 hours.
I'm going to ask you to pause.
Constantly interrupting.
Mr. Janice.
Ridiculous points of order.
I'm going to
Chair are playing their game.
Mr. Janice.
Members should be allowed to speak.
I'm going to.
These are absurd points of order that have nothing to do with matters of order.
Mr. Janice.
And you're constantly preventing Conservatives from speaking. Conservatives have a right to speak on behalf of their constituents, and you need to enforce the rules, Chair. So I have the floor, and we need to stop with these absurd base.
Mr. Janice, order.
You Democrats are trying to shut down our discussion, and we have a right to represent our constituents, Chair.
All remaining amendments submitted to the committee shall be deemed moved.
Chair, I have a point of order.
Put the question forthwith and successively.
Point of order,
without
Chair.
further debate.
Point of order, Chair.
And thank you, and enjoy your evening. Move to the clause by clause now.
Chair.
And
Shuts off his mic.
Chair, I have an issue to raise. Chair, I just have an issue to raise.
So on CPC 4 on
Chair, I have a point of order to raise. Chair, I have a point of order to raise.
We are going to the sub-amendment.
Chair, I have a point of order to raise.
CPC 4, and we'll go to the vote.
Chair, I have a point of order to raise. There is nothing in the House order that prevents me from doing that. I have a point of order to raise, and there is nothing in the House order that prevents that.
Told you to recognize
There is nothing in the House order that prevents it.
This is so horribly corrupt. So that guy there, the George Chahal, is a liberal, obviously. That's why this is so corrupt. Handpicked by Trudeau.
Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. I believe that this committee should have gone to at least given the full 2 hours. So I would move that the committee report to the House that the privileges of all members of the committee were violated when the Chair limited debate on clause by clause of Bill C-50 to less than 2 hours in violation of the House order adopted on Monday, September 24th, 2023. Here is the issue. The House prescribed, I think, a very narrow and draconian, but nonetheless specific framework by which the Natural Resources Committee would consider the issues before it, namely Bill C-350. Standing Order 116 specifies that in a standing special or legislative committee, the standing orders shall apply so far as they may be applicable, except the standing orders as to the election of a speaker, seconding of motions, limiting the times of speeches, and the length of speeches. Section 2B provides that if the Chair, in violation of Part 1 of the standing order, violates the privileges of members, they
we are
can't
getting
appeal to the
into
House.
debate. This is not a question of privilege. This is my ruling. We will proceed. That's the ruling of the chair. Mr. Janice,
you've prevented me from making arguments. Chair, you didn't listen to the argument.
Would like to challenge the chair. Please go ahead and challenge the chair.
Point of order,
Ruling has
Chair.
been made.
Point of order. The
Janice,
making of
I'll
arguments.
ask you to turn off your mic.
Point of order, Chair.
I'll ask you to turn off your mic. The chair has made a ruling. The ruling is not debatable. The ruling has been made.
This guy, get him in jail, man. Like, they obviously don't want to listen to what he has to say at all. They're just horribly corrupt. This government is so corrupt, man.
Point of order, Chair.
Get some secret speech in there. We don't want to have anyone hear what we're whispering. Better shut off the mics.
If you want to challenge the chair on the ruling that's been made, you can do so.
House of Commons, Procedure and Practice, Chapter 20, page 1060. The chair of a committee does not have the power to rule on questions of privilege. Only the Speaker has that power. If a member wishes to raise a question of privilege during a committee meeting or an incident arises in connection with the committee's proceedings that may constitute a breach of privilege, the committee chair allows the member to explain the situation, which you have denied the privilege of Mr. Janice from doing so by interrupting him.
Is this guy eating like a salmon bagel next to him? So basically he's reading him the rule book. This is just embarrassing as a Canadian watching this.
So you, Chair, did not allow the member to fully explain the privilege.
Mr. Brock, thank you.
You gotta like this guy, Larry Brock. He looks like some sort of like thug gangster boss guy who's turned a new leaf and decided to live a clean life. He's just like, I'm waiting for him to get up there and choke slam the guy down. Boom! He looks menacing, but he's very strict on the rules and doing the right thing. I don't know. I like this guy. Every time he speaks, it's pretty sincere and it's straight to the point. And there's no BS with this guy.
We'll not engage in further debate on that. Ms. Gladue on the point of order.
Point of order.
Yes, Chair. First of all, let me say I've never seen anything like this. I chaired a committee for years on status of women. This is unbelievable. But on the specific point, I did witness Mr. Genuis being prevented from speaking by numerous interruptions, and he was making a motion about a point of privilege.
So, Ms. Gladue, we're getting into debate. A ruling has been made. If there's a challenge to the chair, please challenge the chair. Otherwise, we will be proceeding to
Chair, I have a
vote
point
on the sub-amendment on CPC.
Point of order. Point of order, Chair.
So I will now call a vote on the sub-amendment.
Chair, I have a point of order.
Vote's been
I've been trying to raise a point of order. Point of order.
This guy is so corrupt. Captain Steal the Flyers here. Just... Well, I don't want my tax dollars putting this guy in a 100K job. No thanks. Absolute loser.
A vote has been called on sub-amendment to CPC.
No, point of order.
A vote has been called. One sub-amendment will go.
Vote's been called. Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
We will suspend.
What a corrupt load of crap. What is that? Yeah, this is one that it's on the House Committee's page or whatever. You have to really dig deep to see this. I saw it pop up on short form. I just couldn't believe it. So horribly corrupt. What else do you expect? Trudeau handpicked the worst of the worst people to be in the government. That's where we're at. We got these losers, corrupt losers, running the country. At this point, I realize there's probably a lot of rage and anger induced. I'd highly recommend, if you want to chill out a bit, I have a silent hiking channel. Beautiful footage, quiet boot steps in the forest, that kind of thing. If you want to check it out, I got a new episode coming out here soon. But if you want to check it out, I'll link it up right here. Some silent hiking, put it on while you're cooking, eating, that kind of thing. If you want some more Trudeau madness, you can endure some more. There's some up here. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.